All right, new this morning, gas prices up cents to an average of $4.53 per gallon. You can see how much they are from before the war. And the rising gas prices are fueling its huge jump in what businesses had to shell out last month, the Producer Price Index. With us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry Enten. So gas prices above $4.50 a gallon. You hear people talking about it. I had a Republican congressman tell me he paid $100 to fill up this tank. Right? That's a lot of money. Where does the president rank when we talk about approval on gas prices?
You know, oftentimes when gas prices go up, the president pays a price, but never this much, because we're talking about a record here. Take a look at this. Highest disapproval on gas prices. Look at this. President Trump, 79%. 79% of Americans disapprove of him on gas prices. Look, the rest of them you see across the board also reach the 70s, but never this high. This is a record high in terms of looking back at every single president this century. Again, President Trump is breaking records across the political map. But on this one, he is also doing so. And in a way, you simply put, don't want to be breaking records.
And the gas prices were higher here, but he still is being blamed more at this point.
Exactly
which is
right.
Interesting. What's the partisan breakdown here?
Yeah, okay. Why is he being blamed more, right? Why is he being blamed more? And the partisan breakdown really gets this, because just take a look here. We get the rare trifecta. The rare trifecta. Ooh, it's scary if you're a Republican these days looking at these numbers, because take a look at this. Disapprove on gas prices. Look at this. 97% of Democrats, not so much of a surprise. 85% of independents. You know, I was trying to go through the record books to see if there was anybody else who reached 85%. I think Bush did right at the very peak. So I believe tied for the top here. And then look at this. 52% of Republicans. Look, Republicans have stuck with Donald Trump through everything. But even on gas prices, even they are breaking. You get a majority of Republicans, 52%, who disapprove of the president on gas prices. And that is why he, of course, has the highest disapproval rating of all time, at least that I could find for any president on gas prices.
All right, so how much are gas prices weighing on people when it comes to their economic condition?
Yeah, you know, you see these numbers, right? You see, of course, the highest disapproval rating, 79%. But that only tells part of the story, because it wouldn't matter so much if people didn't care, but they care a whole heck of a lot. Take a look here. Okay, top economic problem facing your family, gas travel costs. You know, you go back a year ago, it was just 5%. Look at where we are today. 23% say that, in fact, it is their top economic problem facing their family. So all of a sudden, you got 79% of the public disapproving of you, and now 23% of them way up in terms of the percentage who say that it's their top economic problem. This is a political nightmare, and President Trump better hope that those gas prices fall, Republicans especially, because otherwise this holds up going into the midterm elections. That is no bueno.
Yeah, 23%. Let's see how they feel when they hit the road for holiday weekend, for the Memorial Day travel weekend. All right, what are the predictions market saying about where they see gas prices going?
Yeah, okay, so you see this 5 to 23%. And I mentioned, hey, will gas prices fall? Well, you look at the Kalshi prediction market, chance that gas prices this year rise above $5 a gallon. You know, you go back to the beginning of this month, it was 74% in terms of the chance it would rise above $5 a gallon. Now it's 68%, down a little bit, but the fact that we're still dealing with the majority of those who are putting their money where their mouths are, thinking that we're going to get above $5 a gallon, that would be a political devastating nightmare for the President of the United States, and more so for his party in Congress, which, of course, a lot of them are up for this midterm election.
Yeah, well, every member in the House is
Every
up.
member in the House and a third of the Senate.
Every single member in the House.
Republicans have a new message for Americans concerned about rising gas prices. Just relax.
Look, this is not going to last forever, and gas prices are going to go back down.
How do you know that?
Well, I know that because this war is not going to last forever.
The gas price situation is tough, but I don't think that's going to be resolved in the next few weeks. I think by, call it Labor Day, it's all in the rearview mirror.
The fact of the matter is everybody relax. Fuel prices will go down. Iran's going to end very, very soon.
You might recall, this is the same party that attacked Joe Biden throughout his presidency, accusing him of inaction over high gas prices.
He's not being honest about inflation. Inflation is picking up. Look at gas prices, up over 70 cents a gallon since he got elected.
The national average price for a gallon of gas reached $4.32 on Sunday. And yes, that is the highest price in U.S. history. What is so hard about just being honest with the American people? President Biden should accept responsibility for the past year of rising prices.
We see people postponing their vacations. So this is having a devastating impact to normal families all across my state. The Biden administration is just tone deaf.
In standard fashion, the Biden administration has tried to blame someone else. Mr. Biden has implausibly blamed Vladimir Putin for the high price of gasoline.
You heard Rick Scott there saying the Biden administration was tone deaf, and he was right. So are Republicans doing the same?
Yeah, I don't think this is something to be glib about. This is certainly sobering, and I think President Trump should have an honest conversation. We are in a wartime like other leaders do, and acknowledge what's going on and continue to make the case to the American people that it's worth it, because there is a serious cost. I also think there are things to be optimistic about. We are deregulating. UAE is coming out of OPEC, which could mean less of a monopoly on that front. And I also am going to say, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Republicans are not in a great spot, but I don't look at Democrats and think that they have it tied up for midterms either.
Can I say, the scars from this, but when you're dealing with an inflationary context, you have to show that you're going to take affirmative steps to address inflation. The president is exacerbating inflation. His tariffs are a price hike. The situation in the Middle East is leading to an energy crisis. And his biggest signature achievement was reducing healthcare benefits, cutting SNAP benefits to do a tax cut. So when he's contending with inflation, it's tough because his policies are worsening it. And then to hear Republicans say, just get over it, just deal with it, it's not where people are in this country. It's not where
it's about a serious tax.
It's true. It is true. And it probably is part of the reason that it cost Democrats the election. It is true that Democrats were slow to acknowledge and recognize the pain that Americans were going through. But what Democrats were not doing, what Joe Biden was not doing at the same time, was repainting the pool for $15 million and walking around with a rendition of a ballroom that's now going to cost $1.5 billion with a B, and unveiling gold-plated statues of himself.
They spent tens of millions of dollars doing it.
So the tone deafness, the Secretary of Transportation wasn't on a 7-month road trip with his 9 children for a TV
Sean Duffy
show.
is not.
So,
he was not. You know that he was not on a road trip for 7 months.
No.
You know that is factually
accurate. He has been on a road trip during
for
those
a couple
7
of
months.
days at a time. He was not on for 7 months. That's just not fair and not accurate.
He was filming a reality show road trip.
Exactly.
A road trip reality
at a couple days
over the
at a
course
time
of
over the course of 7
months.
months. So you had a previous transportation secretary who took
agents aren't getting paid.
Not sure that makes it better.
While gas
it does
is
make
at
it better.
$5.99 a gallon. While we are having all sorts of FAA issues, while there's cruise lines with
but my
viruses,
point is, you don't have to make something up to make a point. I think you can make very valid points here.
He has taken days off during the 7 months to go on a road trip for a TV show. Which part of that is inaccurate?
Well, you said he was taking off 7 full months.
No, I didn't say he
That's
was
exactly
taking
what
off
you said.
7
I
months.
think he's allowed to see his 9 children every month for a couple days. I don't begrudge him that.
And tell America to go on road trips while the gas is $5.99 a gallon.
I guess at the end of the day, if what we're talking about is the transportation secretary filming a reality show, it's probably not a good sign for this administration.
I'm fine with the secretary
celebrating
the 250th anniversary of the country.
We'll leave it there.